So, I want to have a real talk moment. I tried recording this a little bit ago and my camera ran out of time, so I had to, delete a bunch of things. Um, I'm Steven here. Uh, I'm doing this as me, just me. I'm not speaking for anybody else. Normally I would post this on one of the two fire pages I'm on, but both of those have very much become way more than just me, so I'm not going to speak on anybody else's behalf, and I'm not going to speak for anybody either or put words in their mouth. That's not fair. This is all 100% my opinions on this little rantaroo coming up. It's not even a rant. It's actually very, very peaceful, just tangent sort of thing. I'm not sure what to do with this camera right now. Tonight was a good night, and it was awesome, and it got me thinking about things. But to recant how tonight went, a lot of new things happened with our group. We Bleed Fire. We performed in two places at once, which I'm sure for any performing group is not unheard of, but we kind of divided and conquered, and one half of our group performed at Art Walk, got into the news, had a blast. They had the Them art exhibit of, I think is art, artists who have migrated from one place to another, and a commentary on migration or something like that. All I know is a lot of dear friends of mine put their sweat, blood, and tears into it, and I took a sneak peek at some of the pieces that they posted on Facebook, and they're all beautiful. Um, but the half of the group I was with was Bailey, Nate, and I, and we were over at Rackham Billiard tonight, helping out with the. Um, I don't know why I'm so jumbled up. We were helping out at the event called Music for Monday, or Mundi. Uh, Effectively, what it was is we were co-hosting an event where we got to do a fire performance. They had petition signings. It was all to help Elephant in Puerto Rico stay in Puerto Rico at the zoo and help them get the zoo back up to par with everything, because they're trying to do everything they can to keep her there. She's 36 years old. She has everything she needs there. There's a biologist on staff that knows everything about elephants and knows everything an elephant needs. It's in a tropical environment, which is what elephants need. And the government and a few other people are wanting to ship her off to some sanctuary in, of all places, Georgia. Uh, Not tropical climate, cold weather constantly, not suited for elephants. And this lady, apparently, that's spearheading that project also used to be the previous owner of the elephant, from what I understood. Mundi was originally under the performing name Tara the Elephant, and performed in a circus on roller skates or something like that. And even if it's not the same elephant, I'm not 100% sure on everything, because I read things here, I read things there. Sometimes, like anybody, any other human being, I jumble things up. But I believe I got most of my information straight out there. Either way, uh, there's a lot of big risks in transporting a large animal that is well into its age um, across any great distance. Um, and it's already been said, but not said big openly in the media, because there's apparently a gag order or something going on. But the people transporting Mundi, if during the transportation process she gets rowdy or if they feel unsafe, they have orders to have her put down. And she already is blind in one eye. She's old. Like, you don't well, I'm gonna go from like a dog owner perspective here. You don't take somebody or take a dog or a person or anything for that matter who is old and set in their ways and has a um, long-term lifetime injury and try to transport them across any great distance. That's not right. That's like taking a veteran and making them go halfway around the world and back while they're dealing with war pains and PTSD and a bunch of other crap. You're just you're almost asking for something to happen that's going to involve having a ton of collateral damage, and that's going to be on somebody's hands, and it's just not going to bode well for anybody. Like for instance, and I'm going on a tangent here, but like my dog Bear, back when we had him before he had to be put down, he had a severe yeast infection that like he had when we got him. Like he was a rescue, and we had taken him because the previous owners were not taking care of him. Like he had severe skin lesions from this yeast infection in his skin and deep in his body, and the initial medications we were given apparently started affecting his liver. And he was of an undiscernible age. Like he looked like a puppy, and they kept saying that he was a puppy, but all the vets said no, he's like 3 or 4 years older. And because he was like a Chow Shepherd, a mix, um, his breeding was like a rough breed, So eventually, as he got older, because we had him for a good while, things started to get a little bit weird. He was getting a lot more protective. He was getting a little bit more rowdy. Somebody brushed him the wrong way, he kind of growled at them, as any sick dog in their old age. And we were getting him back to health. We had no idea his liver and kidneys were failing. We had no idea he was still in immense pain because, animals can't talk. You know, when things are looking good on the outside, you don't always see that they're not doing so well on the inside. But we did the best we could, and we still had problems where he lashed out and bit at somebody. Now, take that picture. Remember the main track of this conversation we're talking about an elephant here. Zoom out the story about Bear the dog, little dog, and their possibility of biting somebody's face. Think about Mundi. If she got upset during transportation and decided to roll over, one of the handlers could get hurt. She could get hurt. If she decided to step on a person. Elephants are very passive and docile creatures, but they're also very big and very strong. There's so many potential risks for a long transportation thing, and that's where my concerns are. Honestly, that's where my heart was in the situation. Originally, my heart in the situation is my big brother Denny, like a person who's like a big brother to me. I love him with all my heart. Asked me for a favor. He is this like warrior man type of guy, like drifter warrior. He does everything he can to take care of his family, but at the jump of inspiration or a skip of a heartbeat, he will be running off to someplace to help try to save the world, like a superhero. He was during the NADPL North Dakota pipeline garbage that was going on. He was there at Standing Rock. He was there at the other reservations. He came down here during the Cypress Trail when they were trying to put an oil rig there, protesting all this mess because our environment's already crap. He is, helping people with like trying to help Flint, Michigan's water stay clean. This guy was standing right there when SeaWorld was doing some sketchy shit. You know, he was there like on the front lines doing what he could to help people out. When Hurricane Irma hit, he literally dropped everything in his life. He was about to like hop on a boat and sail around the world. He had just fixed up a boat or something, and he was like chilling in Key West, going back and forth from Key West to Fort Myers Beach. And he literally just said, "No, I need to go to Puerto Rico." And Puerto Rico is still like half of the entire island is without power. Um, their zoo is struggling at the moment. They're trying to get everything back up to code. But like as I said, the guy is like, I don't know, hippie Superman, and he's like a big brother to me. I love him with all my heart, and you know, if I didn't have so many things tying me to home, like my parents, my fiance, and the fact that I don't have a job that allows me to make ends meet, um, I would be over there at the drop of a hat just because even though I'm not physically fit or capable of doing the same things he's doing, it's that inspiring. Like, I don't know. Because sometimes helping other people who can't help themselves just makes a person feel better. But, you know, there's also that side of me that wants to stay home and become a big artist and, you know, be famous or whatever. But, like, as I get older, I'm starting to learn that's really not important. Like, what is important is sorry, apparently the washing machine is not liking this conversation. But what is important is as an individual, like doesn't matter if it's me, you, whoever, do what you need to do in your life to make you feel like something is worth it. Help somebody, smile at somebody, you know, give each other a hug, something. Just those every little day gesture or little everyday gestures. Even to the big ones. Donating to charity, sitting in the soup kitchen cooking dinner, um, making sleeping bags out of Walmart bags. You know, just every little possible crazy idea. Do it. Um, but this is where this whole rant slash, I don't want to call it a rant, tangent filled conversation disoriented by the fact that it's 1 a.m. and I chose to use big words for no reason and a whole bunch of other rambling and jamblings. Um, if you get anything out of this video and you think, oh, I want to help out too, I want to do my part, I want to be like also an SJW Superman or whatever, well, do it. Get out there. Do whatever you can. If you can't leave home, if you have things anchoring you down like me, you know, all it takes is a little bit of effort, a little bit of breath, and some patience, and I think anything's accomplishable. Like, I can't just drop everything and run to Puerto Rico like I want to for at least a day. I mean, see what it's like. Like, I don't care if any pictures get taken or anything. It's not a tourist trip. It's just see what can be done, see what can be done to help. You know, maybe make a friend while I'm there. You never know what's going to happen. But it's not about what you get out of it. It's not about what I get out of it. It's about what we can to give from it. Sorry, I'm sitting in the carport and looking at the trees across the street. Sometimes I see things in the leaves. Turns out it's just either a trash panda or the leaves look like a creepy face. But I don't know. So I got distracted. But you know, it's about fulfilling what an individual has as a sense of purpose and what an individual can do to help others. Um, so I am going to give everybody who watches this video a way they can help out. I want you to get online. I want you to go on your computer. Go to change.org. Just sign at least one petition that you think is going to benefit the world. I know it's silly, but that little signature on any petition, those make differences. You have ones trying to help fund zoos. You have ones trying to help ban smoking in places. You have ones trying to make people go to paper straws because plastic is just not good. But you also have silly ones, like people are trying to get Shaggy into Mortal Kombat. It might happen. You never know. But that's the power of a signature. It's the power of people gathering in numbers to decide they want something. You know? A bunch of creepy, angry men decided they weren't going to go watch the movie Solo. And a whole bunch of Star Wars spin-offs got postponed. You know, when you start voting with your name and you vote with your wallet, you actually can make a difference. You know, so if a bunch of crazy people can protest a movie, see what you positive things you could do in mass. You know? I know that was a terrible example. But another thing you can do is you can go to openworldrelief.com or you can go to their Facebook page. They have so many venues of things where people need help. And they send people places. They do what they can to help in other places. They're working with the zoo in Puerto Rico. They're working with like other places just to show that they are there to help and that they are an invaluable resource. And I don't just sit there and talk about something like that and without believing in it. I'm saying this from my heart. I think any organization that is willing to help, we need to go ahead and back. I'm not going to tell you that every group like that's perfect. Everybody's got their flaws, but look. Tangent number 50. I'm putting a number on it. I don't care if it's actually 50. Everybody has flaws. The problem is a lot of times everybody's going to look at the flaws and not recognize all the good deeds. Like, you can do 50 good things in a day and did one thing wrong. And there's people who will sit there and dwell on the one thing wrong. Like, Kevin Hart apparently was going to host an award ceremony, but he said something 10 years ago on a Twitter account that was offensive to people. You know, it doesn't matter that he as a person has possibly changed, but a celebrity said a thing that people don't like. So, and he said he wasn't going to apologize, and then he did apologize, and then he showed that he changed and stuff like that. People were still mad, but he gracefully bowed out. You know, he wasn't kicked out, he gracefully bowed out. Back on topic. Ignore the flaws, or don't ignore the flaws. Regard them, but also remember all the good things a lot of these organizations do. If you have an organization out there that is trying to help, like Open World Relief, or like, I can't even name that many, Blue Crayons. I'm not here to name drop though. I'm here to tell you, go out and pick one. Support them. You know, you hate cancer, go to Fuck Cancer, donate to them. If you hate that people are starving, go to the Harry Chapin Food Bank and give them like some cans or a Publix gift card or something. If you hate homelessness, let somebody stay in your house for a night or buy some dude a tent. You know, if you know, there's so many things that can be done. One thing, my mom used to do for my brother and I is on Christmas Eve she'd let us open a present, and then the next morning she'd get us up early, and she would take us to the soup kitchen. And on Christmas Day, we would sit there, and whatever they asked us to do at the kitchen, in the kitchen of the soup kitchen, we would do. And we'd be peeling potatoes or opening up cans of green beans and making big batches of green bean casserole or what have you. And we're just sitting here going, "Oh, we're just making food." Well, you zoom out of that, and it's no, you're feeding a bunch of people. You know, another year we were sitting there in the Harborside Convention Center with a bunch of people filling bags of corn, macaroni, and some kind of nutrient mix because they were making vegetable bags and macaroni and cheese bags that were being vacuum sealed, pre portioned, and sent off to third world countries for kids to be able to have food. You know, and we're just sitting here going, "Oh, great! This is like we made the joke that we were a mac and cheese sweatshop." But in reality, you zoom out from that, and that was dinner some kid was having that they couldn't have normally gotten. Every little thing you do has an effect somewhere else. Um, we were walking out of a pizzeria, downtown House of Pizza, one night, and this dude needed something. He was asking about something, and we looked at him and we're like, "You look hungry," and he didn't say anything back, and we're like, "Give us a minute, and don't go anywhere." We walked in, we bought like a couple of slices of pizza and a soda, and we walked back out and sat there and ate pizza with the guy. We didn't even know who he was. It was something. It was weird. It was like one of those things where it felt right. Like we didn't even know if he was homeless. It was just a dude that looked hungry, and it turned out he was homeless. He had a blanket. He was getting ready to go to bed without dinner. And he got a warm slice of pizza. It's not the healthiest thing or whatever, but it's what we could do at the moment. And we sat there and we talked. And he told us a little bit about himself. And, it's easy to say you went out and helped somebody, but when somebody is accepting help from somebody, that takes a lot of courage too. And he sat there and he cried. And we walked up and we gave him a hug and we're like, "No, dude, this was a gift. Don't make anything big of it." But and that's the thing is, I'm not here to brag about that. I want you to take that and I want you to use it as inspiration to do something else. You know, tonight I just spun fire. I'm a performer. I entertained a crowd. Zoom out from that. That crowd got drawn in to help sign a petition to help make sure an elephant stayed in a place where it belonged. Zoom out from that. That's also going to do other things for that zoo. It's going to draw people in. It's going to draw donors in. People are going to help make sure those animals get taken care of. A lot of the animals in that zoo are animals that have been, rescued or rehabilitated. It's not like going to some amusement park. They're not some accessory to entertain people. So, like, in the long run, these little things are stacking up. They're making a big pyramid of helping something bigger. So go out there, be the little brick, stack up with all the other little bricks, and we all together can be that pyramid of building something bigger. You know, go to World Change. Um, I'm already messing up their name, but go to change.org, go to any charity, do something. Be the hero you always wanted to be or you've always looked up to. Good night, guys. I love you. I'm cutting this short just because I've just ranted for 25 minutes, and apparently my camera's about to time out on me. So I love you. Good night. Buenas noches. And stuff like that.